Hello and welcome to my guide for the Aetherblade Hideout strike mission, also known as the Mai Trin strike mission. This fight is excellent for starting out your journey in instance content, as it contains key mechanics that will pop up in other boss encounters in one form or another, which will help you to learn them faster as you'll already be familiar with how they work. The fight is very mechanics oriented, and as always I'd recommend a balanced composition covering all of the key boons and a healer or two to make it go smoothly. However, because of this mechanical focus, low healing requirement and an absence of an enrage timer, you don't need to sweat it too much. As long as you understand the fight, more or less anything will work here. This guide will be in two sections. The first will be an explanation of the mechanics and how to handle them, and the second is a commentated full run so you can see how everything fits together. Let's get started. At the very start of the encounter, the boss will send out 4 linear area attacks. Don't stand in those. Right at the start, the boss has a few key attacks. An evasion move where you won't be able to target her while she attacks you for a few moments, a large conal area attack that you'll want to stand behind the boss or dodge to avoid, and also a deadly charge attack where she'll put down a linear marker and then leap in that direction, dealing heavy damage. The solution here is simple. Don't get hit by any of that, wait until the evasion is over, and then break the Defiance bar. At 60%, the boss will go invulnerable and 3 Scarlet Phantoms will spawn. They have a very low amount of health and do some basic attacks. Try to avoid their damage, eliminate them, and then the boss will become vulnerable again. You'll then get a repeat of what we've already seen down to 30% of the boss's hit points. At 30%, it's time for some more Scarlet Phantoms, but this time it's a little different. 2 of the Phantoms will be significantly stronger. The first has a high health pool and casts a green circle that deals high damage split among all players within the circle after a few seconds. You'll want to stack at least 4 to 5 players inside the green circle to prevent downstates. This is a very common mechanic to see. If you ever see a green circle in Guild Wars 2, stand in it. Green circles either signify that standing in them will give you or your team a positive effect, or that not standing in them will cause something bad to happen. The other Phantom is tackled a little bit differently. Instead of dealing damage to it, you'll need to eliminate it by breaking its Defiance bar. This Phantom places an orange circle area attack on every player in the squad. If you get hit by someone else's circle, it will deal massive damage to you, almost certainly sending you to downstate. Because of this, it's extremely important to spread out to avoid any overlaps. A good tip here is to get to a safe position and then stop moving. If you move around and jiggle too much, you can surprise other players and accidentally kill them. During this double Phantom phase, Mai Trin will still be active and will continue to use her normal abilities on you, so watch out for those too. In general, I think it's best to go for the Phantom without a Defiance bar first, and get rid of the green circle, and also because it's a bit easier to eliminate. After that, move as a group to shut down the other Phantom. Avoid splitting up here unless you're confident, as the green circle can quickly cause problems if there aren't enough players nearby. After both Phantoms are destroyed, the boss becomes vulnerable again. Nothing new here, just blast the boss down to 10% to enter the next phase. The phase in question is the terrifying Echo of Scarlet Briar phase, where a giant revenant entity of Tyria's favourite villain emerges from the ground to fight the squad. The good news is most of the mechanics are the same, with a few additions and differences. First up, Scarlet has new basic attacks. Orbs will constantly be spewing out from the boss, dealing minor damage. They're not dangerous enough to be worried about though unless you don't have a healer, so just don't deliberately eat them. The next attack is a swipe attack. The boss will swipe and spawn a bunch of red circles in a spiral pattern. If you're right in the middle of the arena inside the hitbox of the boss, then you won't get hit at all, and you can stack there for the entire time you're directly fighting Scarlet, so just do that. And the final new basic attack is a Shockwave move. The boss will smash an area, causing a Shockwave to expand from that location. You can see where the Shockwave will spawn because of the boss's animations, orange warning waves, and a small orange circle. The Shockwave does minor damage and knocks players back. To counter it, jump over it, block it, dodge it, or use stability. Aside from that, break the Defiance bar whenever you see it, and hit the boss very hard. At 80%, it's time for another Phantom phase. Repeat it just like before in the Mai Trin phase. Go for the Phantom with no break bar first, stack in the green circle when it spawns, and spread out to avoid dying to the squad area attacks, and you'll have no problem. The Echo of Scarlet Briar will continue to use attacks during this phase, so be a bit careful, as if things destabilize during this phase, it may cause issues. Additionally, lots of little Phantoms will spawn that fire out damaging orbs and area attacks. You'll want to get rid of these as quickly as possible, as they actually hit pretty hard. After the Phantoms are dead, the boss will become vulnerable again, and it's time for a new mechanic. Periodically, a random player will be targeted by a blue beam of light. This player will also get a very bright blue border on their screen, making it easy to tell if you've been focused. After a few seconds, the player will have a medium-sized circular area attack start to form under them. It deals massive pulsing damage for a good duration, so the player affected must move out from the group until the area attack starts to spawn before quickly moving back to the squad. Be careful of this mechanic even if you don't get targeted. If the target player doesn't notice, then you'll need to move away from them or face the consequences. Handle this and get to 60%, which is where the final new mechanic of the encounter pops up. The boss will become untargetable, and a Scarlet Phantom with an arrow marker will spawn, and 3 safe zone circles will also appear over the next 8 seconds. When the third circle is spawned, the Phantom will begin to unleash a deadly laser beam. If you get hit by it, you will instantly die with no downstate, and players not inside any circle will go into the downstate. The key here is that only one of the circles will actually be safe and the other 2 will be in the path of the beam. The good news is that you can always know where the safe zone will be. The Phantom always spawns off-center and fires its beam directly forwards across the arena. Imagine the beam dividing the arena into 2 sections. The safe circle will always be in the larger of these 2 sections. If you're having trouble with that strategy, there are a few other ways to approach this mechanic. First of all is intuition. If you stand in the middle and wait for the circles to spawn, it will become immediately obvious which circle is going to be safe when the beam starts to appear, and you have plenty of time to move to the correct one. The other way you can look at this is that the safe circle will always be the one leaving the area where the beam is going to be when the third circle spawns. Use whatever approach works for you, but whatever you do, don't ever get hit by the beam. Remember, if you're just not in a circle, you go downstate and you can be revived, but the beam means you cannot be recovered by your team. If you are a commander, try to put a marker where the safe zone will be to help your team, or just use chat to indicate that you're in the safe zone, so players unfamiliar with the mechanic can follow you. That's it. Everything you need to know to beat this strike mission is now within your mind. You'll get another Phantom phase at 40% and another Circle phase at 20%, which are just the same as before, so repeat what you've learned and victory will be yours. The only things that change are that below 60%, Mai Trin will occasionally fire conal attacks during boss phases, dodge, block, out-heal or move out of the attack to counter it, and additionally, small Scarlet Phantasms that fire orbs will periodically spawn below 20%. The fight shouldn't last long enough for these to become too much of a problem, but if they get out of control, kill them or you may get overwhelmed. Now let's see how all of that fits together by looking at a full kill. Here we go. Alright then, so the first thing that you'll probably notice is that we're running a lot of pretty strong classes, as you can see from our squad UI there, but that's not really the important takeaway. You don't need to do that. Just as long as you're running something that's pretty sensible, you're going to have a much easier time here. In general, just make sure you have all of the key boons, might, protection, alacrity, quickness, all that kind of fantastic stuff, and you'll have a very, very good time here. We've actually got 2 healers in this group. I'm playing a heal Scourge, and we have a druid in the other subgroup. This will allow you to really handle these mechanics simply by out-healing a lot of them, and it means you can ignore them while also continuing to DPS and get this boss down as quick as you possibly can. So we're going to be starting just about now. We're actually setting up markers here. These are where the Phantoms are going to spawn, right? The one that has the Defiance bar and the one that doesn't, right? For the splitting in the green circles. So that's a little bit of a thing that you can do as a commander to make things a little bit easier. But here we go. We wait for Mai Trin to stop moving around and then get this Defiance bar, and you can see that the boss is going to get absolutely deleted and almost go on to the next phase immediately. Just after a brief period there of nearly using that charge. There it is. And then we get the Phantom spawning here. Just spreading out here to take these out. Not too much of a problem. Watch out for those orange AoEs. They can do a little bit of damage, but unless you have no healer, won't really be too much of a threat to you in any case. And after that, the boss is back and, well, already on 45% health. We're surging towards that second phase. We're going to get another Defiance bar here as well. And that will just pretty much go to the final Phantom phase in this Mai Trin phase. And then we can move on quickly. So we get introduced to these, and we're going to move to Arrow first. Handle this spread mechanic. Moving out here as well, trying to fix in position so it's kind of easy to gauge where everyone's going to be. If you move around too much there and jiggle, you can kind of catch someone by surprise and accidentally kill them, so you got to watch out for that. But that one's now dead. We're moving over to the Defiance bar one, and we shouldn't actually end up getting a green circle here. This can actually happen if you kill these really, really quickly, so you have like a relatively high damage group or something like that. You might not even see the green circle mechanic. but be aware that you may do as well if your group is a little on the slower side. But yep, that's just it really for this first Mai Trin phase. It's going to burst her down and move on to the Echo of Scarlet Briar. And here we go. And the really key thing to do in this phase is just to stack, right? Like, there is some damage spamming about the place with those orbs, the basic attacks and the shockwaves, but if you stay together, having 1 or 2 healers will essentially trivialize a lot of that damage output, and you can just tank it. You can see there we're just standing in these red circles, and they're not really much of a threat. We get the Defiance bar, and that's going to more or less push us all the way to the 80% mark, which is going to be the first Phantom phase of the Scarlet Briar section of this encounter. There they are spawning, and we just move over directly to the arrow marker, again, the one without the Defiance bar. Spread mechanic comes through, we're going to move over here, again, fixing in place. A slight troll there by one of our players, nearly caused a little bit of instability, but we're able to revive the player up immediately, and that's something that's really important, just in general. If you see players in downstate, get them up. This is always what you want to do. And there you go, you see the green circle actually didn't spawn there. Well, it spawned, but then immediately despawned. It despawns after you kill the Phantom that doesn't have a break bar, so you can avoid it by doing that. A bit of a bad placement on that lightning there, so a little bit lazy. One of our players greeting for a bit of DPS there, typical DPS player, but with some good awareness from the rest of everyone else. We didn't take too much damage from that, but do watch out for that. That is certainly one of the things that can absolutely kill you on this encounter. If you do go downstate in that lightning area of effect attack, it can cause you some serious problems. But here we are, we've arrived at the first circle phase. We identify where we need to go. Again, thinking of the beam as dividing the area into 2 sections and looking for the biggest section. You can see that very visually here now. One of our players went the wrong way, but hey, good demonstration of why you don't go in the beam. You'll notice that they realized that, oh no, I've messed up, I've made a mistake, and they simply went downstate by moving out of the circles instead of fully dying by kind of going like, oh, I'm going to commit anyway, and then you get hit by the beam and then you can't recover. So yeah, little tip there, you know, it's good example of how to learn. Lightning moves out there by our player, very, very safe there, nice and far out to the edge, meaning that no one's under any threat whatsoever of taking damage there. Moving on to 40%, where we're going to go into another Phantom phase. Here there are going to be a good amount of those little Phantoms up that fire out those orbs, so here's where you want to clean those up. Particularly, you can see them all spawning about the arena now, and they'll start doing some damage, but a very solid spread execution there. The orbs are about the place, and we're going to clean those up as we move over there. And the reason we kill this arrow one first is that, again, we're going to be able to skip that green circle. Again, it spawns, but immediately despawns when that one dies. Over to the Defiance bar. And here we go, just using our Defiance bar breaking skills to get this done. And that's one kind of little tip for this encounter in general. If you do have some extra Defiance bar you can take, definitely worth doing, because this is, the Defiance bars here are actually pretty intense on the boss and on those Phantoms, and it is very important to get that done. So if you do have the ability to get a few more skills, definitely worth doing. You saw Mai Trin there firing that conal attack out there. As you can see, it didn't really bother us that much. It's blockable, so Aegis works, all that kind of stuff. No problem there, just out heal it. And again, and more circle phases here at 20%. Again, we identify the safe zone. There's the beam. We're in it, moving immediately. No rush there whatsoever. And in general, you know, don't be afraid to kind of follow the circles. If you're not kind of sure where the position is going to be, it's always going to basically be in the same spot relative to where the beam is. But if you're new to the fight, just go ahead and, you know, follow the commander, right? Well, assuming they know what they're doing, but just make sure that you're kind of following the circle, stay in the middle, or follow those circles when you know which one's the safe one, instead of just relying on the position. But after that, you can see a little Phantom start to spawn, but it's a little bit too late for that, and the boss is down. So there you have it. That's just a very clean example of how a kill should look. Maybe a few little mistakes here and there, but that's all for the flavor, right? And in general, you don't have to worry about super perfect execution or super perfect composition to get this stuff done. It is tuned such that it's about mechanics. If you understand the fight and do the mechanics, you will kill these strike missions. And I think that's a great design from ArenaNet, but that's for another video, I think, at this point. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this sort of guided tour example kill of the Mai Trin Aetherblade Hideout strike mission. Doesn't look so bad, does it? Thanks for watching. Get in there and conquer this strike mission and begin your journey of becoming a god gamer. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and be sure to check out the companion guide to this video on hardstuck.gg if you prefer to learn from written guides. All of the same explanations in this video are expressed there in a beautifully visual fashion. And we also have guides for all PvE content and more, so no matter what you're after, we've got you covered. Subscribe for more, go feast your eyes on all of my other videos, and I'll see you next time.